According to a whistleblower report revealed by Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee, led, of course, by Jamie Raskin, Ghislaine Maxwell, or Ghislaine Maxwell, as I see a lot of people pronouncing it these days, even though I've been talking about her since the first Epstein arrest and trial. We covered that at Ring of Fire when nobody else even knew it existed. And it's always been Ghislaine. Nobody's ever corrected us, so I don't know which it is. It probably is Ghislaine, but to me, she's always going to be Ghislaine, so I don't need people messaging and saying you're pronouncing it incorrectly. She doesn't even deserve the dignity of having her name pronounced correctly. So, having said that, Ghislaine Maxwell has apparently been given the royal treatment at the minimum security facility in Texas that Donald Trump had her moved to earlier in the summer when the Epstein scandal broke for like the fourth time in American history. So, here is what Jamie Raskin, in a letter to Donald Trump, is now demanding after getting all of this new information from the whistleblower. You have claimed to be the most transparent president in history and have insisted you exercise close control over the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Prisons, hereby referred to as BOP. Yet, you have adamantly refused to release the Epstein files despite campaigning on their release. You lied when you denied authoring a lewd and incriminating birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein, and you ridiculously claimed that your own unmistakable signature on that note was not your signature. You shut down the DOJ's ongoing investigation into Epstein's co-conspirators, and you expressly declined to rule out pardoning his main accomplice, convicted child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell. The situation looks more and more suspicious to growing bipartisan majorities in Congress every day. The House Committee on the Judiciary has now received whistleblower information indicating that this cover-up goes even further into DOJ and BOP than was known before. So, Raskin is asking that Donald Trump make Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche available for a public hearing in light of the documents and new information received. Part of the new information, of course, that has been going through the news this week is that Maxwell is apparently drafting or filling out an application for a commutation of her sentence, meaning she would immediately get let out of prison. If Donald Trump commutes her sentence, there is no doubt that he was involved in those activities with underage girls. Let's go ahead and put that out there. Let's make that the point that everybody in this country understands, left, right, and center. Doesn't matter your political ideology. If Trump lets her go free, it is basically an admission that, yeah, I was doing all the same things with those underage girls that Epstein was. That's what I'm going to take it as personally. And not to mention, why would Maxwell even want to get out of prison at this point? Here is what the whistleblower said is happening for Maxwell in prison. Maxwell's meals have been customized and prepared by federal prison camp staff and then personally delivered to her in her cell by longtime federal employees. So this administration is having federal employees wait hand and foot on Maxwell in prison, a convicted child sex trafficker. When Maxwell wanted to arrange a private meeting with visitors, including members of her family, the warden personally arranged it for her and then provided a special cordoned-off area for visitors to arrive, as well as an assortment of snacks and refreshments for her guests. Oh, wow! What a party! Maxwell's guests were permitted to bring computers, an unprecedented action by the warden given the security risk and potential for Miss Maxwell to use a computer to conduct unmonitored communications with the outside world. When the phone lines went down for other inmates at the camp, Maxwell provided specific instructions about exactly which Bureau of Prison personnel her contacts should call, and how those BOP personnel would then connect to relay the call to Maxwell. When Maxwell wanted to review and edit documents quickly, she essentially used Warden Hall as her personal secretary and administrative assistant. Maxwell's correspondents would email documents directly to the warden, who would provide them to Miss Maxwell, who would then review and edit them and provide them back to the warden to scan and provide to the original sender. For other inmates, simple mail can take weeks to arrive and is frequently lost. An inmate who trains puppies to become service dogs was instructed to provide one to Maxwell for a time so she could play with the puppy, even though neither inmates nor staff are ordinarily allowed to pet the service dogs in training. Now you brought the puppies into this. Now I'm even more pissed off. Maxwell does not deserve the love of a puppy. Like, she doesn't deserve the love of any human either, but let's face it, puppies are unconditional love, and somebody that did what she has been convicted of doing does not deserve that, and that just sends me to a whole new level of pissed off. So why would she want to leave this, right? I mean, you're basically staying in a free 5-star resort. Everybody's acting like they're your personal staff. Why would you want to leave that? And I know people are saying, well, it's still prison. Well, sure. But think about this. Maxwell is one of the most despised figures on the face of the earth. She is known across the world, and everybody knows what she did, what she was convicted of. If Trump commutes her sentence and lets her out of jail, do you think she's ever going to feel safe for the rest of her life? Not that she deserves to. I mean, if that were me in that situation, I would want to stay in prison for the rest of my life. Because the second I step outside those doors and no longer have guards to keep people off me, I'd be a dead man. Like, that's what would happen. So her even thinking about getting a commutation and Trump clearly thinking about granting it, that seems like a death sentence. There's a lot of angry, crazy people just here in the United States, Ghislaine. Did you not know about that? Have you not seen what happens to those people? Do you not remember that you were threatened by the inmates at your other prison? Allegedly, that's why you had to be moved. Because of what you were convicted of? You think people on the outside are going to be any more forgiving? If I were you, I would want to stay in prison as long as humanly possible. Because otherwise, you're entering a world in the state of Texas, one of the most heavily armed states there is, that absolutely hates your living guts. But you do you, and you deal with whatever those consequences are.